We all know these brands. We see their logos on our phones, our computers, and splashed across the world's most famous cities. They feel untouchable, right? Like immortal gods of industry. Because here's the truth. The story of global power is not about the companies we see on billboards or the billionaires we follow on Twitter. It's about something far quieter. Something hidden in plain sight. Follow the money, and you arrive at three names: BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street. Together, these firms manage tens of trillions of dollars. That's more than the GDP of entire continents, concentrated into portfolios that stretch across nearly every industry on Earth. They own slices of the companies that produce our food, power our homes, run our social media, and even design the weapons used in wars. It's easy to imagine Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, or Tim Cook as the emperors of the modern age. But look closer, and you'll see these empires rest on shares. Shares quietly held by asset managers. Take BlackRock, the largest of them all. Its founder, Larry Fink, rarely appears on the nightly news. Yet when BlackRock votes at shareholder meetings, its decisions ripple through every corner of the economy. Who sits on a company's board, whether a CEO keeps his job, what direction entire industries take, these are questions answered not in parliaments or congresses, but in conference rooms where BlackRock's analysts cast their votes. Beside it stands Vanguard, structured not as a flashy corporation, but as a cooperative owned by its investors. Vanguard's influence is quieter, but no less vast. It holds major stakes in thousands of companies, shaping them by simple virtue of ownership. And then there is State Street, the third giant. Smaller in size, but still managing trillions, its control stretches into banking, pharmaceuticals, and energy. Together, these three form what some call the Big Three. Their power is not like the power of kings or presidents. It is the power of plumbing, invisible, essential, ignored until it breaks. They don't need to issue commands. By deciding how to vote the shares of millions of people, by guiding markets with trillions in assets, they steer the very architecture of capitalism. And yet, most of the public has never heard their names. Turn on the news and you'll hear about Apple's latest iPhone, Amazon's next expansion, Tesla's latest headline. But rarely does a journalist ask, who owns the owners? This secrecy is no accident. The asset managers prefer it this way. While CEOs face cameras, these firms thrive in the shadows, moving like ghosts through the financial system. To most, they're faceless custodians, simply holding investments for pension funds, insurance companies, and governments. But that simplicity hides a paradox. In representing everyone, they answer to no one. Critics warn that this concentration of power undermines democracy itself. How can ordinary citizens influence the world when a handful of firms quietly control the food we eat, the energy we burn, the houses we live in, and even the platforms on which we speak? The decisions made in these offices can inflate housing prices, dictate energy policy, and even sway political outcomes, all without a single vote cast by the public. And here lies the mystery. We know their names, we know their scale, but the true extent of their influence remains hidden. How much control do they really have? Where does their accountability begin or end? The story of the Big Three is not just about finance. It is about the hidden architecture of power in the modern world. And as we peel back the layers, the question grows sharper. Is real power held by the charismatic billionaires who dominate headlines? Or by the silent asset managers who rarely step into the spotlight? If the story ended here, it would already be unsettling. Three firms holding shares in almost every major company. But the deeper you look, the stranger it becomes. Because BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street don't just own pieces of the global economy. They are also entangled with governments themselves. When crises erupt, a banking collapse, a pandemic, a sovereign debt scare, world leaders quietly call the same firms to manage bailouts, stabilize markets, and craft recovery plans. The referees of capitalism are also the players. Take the 2008 financial crash. As banks toppled and confidence evaporated, governments turned to these asset managers. BlackRock's software system, Aladdin, became the hidden brain monitoring trillions in risks across the financial system. Its insights guided regulators. Its fingerprints shaped policies that decided who survived and who failed. Fast forward to the COVID-19 pandemic. Once again, governments leaned on BlackRock to design recovery programs worth billions. Few voters ever realized that unelected managers, not elected officials, were quietly writing the playbook. But this power comes wrapped in secrecy. For ordinary people, the big three remain invisible. Their websites talk about stewardship, responsibility, and serving clients. Yet critics argue that their dominance is anything but neutral. Consider housing. As home prices skyrocketed in city after city, journalists discovered institutional investors buying up entire neighborhoods. Ordinary families found themselves bidding not against other families, but against faceless funds backed by the trillions of BlackRock and Vanguard. Critics accused them of turning shelter, the most basic human need, into a speculative asset, or energy. While global leaders debate climate change, these firms sit on the boards of oil giants and renewable startups alike. Their public statements may praise sustainability, but their portfolios profit from both fossil fuels and green energy. Whose interests are truly being served? And then, politics. Campaign donations and lobbying are only the visible surface. The real influence flows through capital. If a company relies on the big three as its largest shareholders, how free is its leadership to defy them? What policies, what corporate strategies, what political stances are shaped not by public debate, but by the silent nod of an asset manager? This is why some economists call them the new sovereigns, not nations, but firms, ruling not through armies or flags, but through ownership. So why don't we hear about them? Because their power is structural. Like plumbing, it is hidden behind walls. If it works, no one notices. If it breaks, the system collapses. And so, their influence goes undebated, their decisions unscrutinized, even as they touch every part of daily life. And this leads us back to the central mystery. When we talk about wealth and power, we picture Jeff Bezos stepping out of a rocket ship or Elon Musk tweeting in the middle of the night. But are they the true rulers of the age, or merely frontmen for a system shaped by shareholders they do not control? The deeper question is chilling. Is democracy itself being hollowed out by financial concentration? Because if three firms can steer the direction of entire industries, if their decisions ripple through food, energy, housing, and technology, then the story of modern capitalism is not one of open competition, but of hidden control. And the rabbit hole goes even deeper. Asset managers are only one piece of a far larger puzzle. A puzzle that stretches into offshore tax havens, shell corporations, secret trusts, and wealth networks exposed in leaks like the Panama Papers. Names you'll never hear on the evening news, fortunes that shape the world from behind curtains of secrecy. So the question remains, who really owns the world? This is just the beginning. In the next episode, we follow the trail from Wall Street's skyscrapers to the Caribbean's offshore havens and uncover the hidden map of global power.